Hello. Um, so if you're watching this, that means I have finally decided to share this. If you don't know me, I am Sithumini, and this is kind of like my story. Um, I the reason behind why I wanted to make a video like this started as something kind of like journaling, because I have been told by some people that I need to maybe start write a book, blog or whatever, and express my feelings, and then also basically tell my story. When they said those things, I was like, what story? Like, why do you want to hear my story, right? And eventually I kind of started seeing like that. At first I was also looking for a story like this, some kind of um, someone who went through something and how they dealt with it, kind of like a story. And maybe that's why I decided to do something like this. This is extremely out of my comfort zone. I would never even, I don't even like taking selfies. Like, like
Just
right
like
now, I am really conscious of my body weight and everything. So this is something that I'm doing because I feel like I kind of need to do this at some point. Um, so here, so here I am doing it. So that enough of that rambling. So if you know me, like most of you who watch this will be my immediate friends. I don't know how I decide to share this, so I don't know. Um, some of you might know my story, and some of you might not. This might come as a surprise for some, and for those who those who get surprised from what I am about to say, I really kindly ask you not to call my parents, my sister, my husband, or their family, or anyone. Don't call them. Don't get angry at them for not, telling you sooner or anything. It's because this was a really traumatic experience for all of us, and our first instinct was to just get over this or deal with this. No, I shouldn't say get over, is to deal with this first. So we are sorry for not speaking out before, um, or reaching out to you before, and honestly things are under control now. So that's exactly why I feel a little okay with sharing something like this. So please, I ask you not to call my parents, because they have gone through enough. They have enough problems. Please don't call them. If you have something to say, just be kind, use kind words. you know Tell my parents, if you want to call them, tell them how happy you are about them, because that's all I feel towards them. I am extremely grateful towards my entire family, my parents, my husband, my sister, my relatives, everyone around me who helped me get through this. So if you want to, desperately, if you want to call them, just say that they are the real heroes here. So be kind, just be kind, because I'm so, as I said, I did try just writing first, but didn't work out so well because it took me forever to get to a point. and that's not how you write a book, or whatever you do, and that's not how you write. You need to be concise, and that's a problem I always had. I can't get to a point. So that's why I'm just making this video, so I can just, like, ramble on, and you can decide what part to watch and what part not to. So I kind of thought of starting with just, a little background about why am I making this video and what am I trying to say. So initially, in like 2020, I was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer called synovial sarcoma. It is a soft tissue sarcoma. I think I'll make a separate video, or I don't know, a post or something about that if anyone's interested, because I have felt like I need to talk about, rare cancers at some point, as someone who has been through a rare cancer, because it doesn't often get talked about. And so I was diagnosed back in 2020. And ever since then, I've had multiple recurrences. So I had to go through a lot of treatment. So lots of surgeries, chemotherapy, and radiotherapy. So if any of you are friends with me on Facebook, Instagram, you might have seen my hairstyle change drastically within the past few years. Well, now you know the reason. I got I got my hairstyles because of this. So that's kind of like, what happened. And when I said I had multiple surgeries, it started off as like, taking out the tumor and then taking out a muscle, and then it kind of became a little radical, and I had to go through a life-changing surgery. I think I'll talk about that I don't know, maybe later on this video or later, because it's kind of like a like I said, I am not in my comfort zone right now, but I want to do this. Yeah, I'll talk about this in a bit. So that's my basically what happened, and the reason why I'm making this video is to, like, if anyone who's going through a similar diagnosis or any other diagnosis that could impact their life, impact their quality of life, I just want to be kind of like a case scenario for them. So you can watch this video and decide, what to do and what not to do, how to face this or how not to face this. I'm not saying like I have all this figured out. I'm not saying that. I am very much new to this. This is how I faced a very awful news as a 23-24-year-old. And this is not coming from like a life coach or a psychologist or a doctor. This is just a girl, an average girl, a very emotional average girl facing a very life-changing diagnosis. So do not take any of this literally. This is just like a case study, right? Like, so this is just one case study. So you can just, watch this and decide what to do, what not to do, what resonates with you, and what, doesn't feel right with you. Just look at it and then, take what you need, or don't take what you don't feel right. Okay. So when I was first diagnosed, I was in the third year of my 4-year degree. I just started to specialize in physics. So I did my bachelor's in physical sciences, and I got selected for a physics special degree. I always wanted to do physics. So I was really excited, and so I was having a really good time back then, which is also the same time when we got hit with COVID. So back in 2020, if you remember, was when we, had all those curfews and vaccinations and blah blah blah. And this is the same time I got diagnosed. So thankfully, I had most of my lectures online. Um, so when I first got diagnosed, like when I got the news for the first time, I got a text message from my doctor asking me to meet him immediately that afternoon. And the minute I got the text, my whole life changed. So I think I should start with that. When you get a life-changing diagnosis like that, I keep saying life-changing. I use that word because we, as we go through life, we have all these expectations, hopes, and dreams, right? You For me, that was getting into uni, getting into a specialist degree, getting a good class, and then going abroad for my higher studies, and one day, maybe if I'm lucky, I get a doctorate. So that was my life. And also find a good boyfriend. I already had a boyfriend back then, and get married to him, have a beautiful wedding, have a happy life with him, right? So this is the life I had planned back then in my head as a 23-year-old girl. And when this happened, everything kind of got very blurred. Like the minute I saw that text, I felt like my head was spinning, and like the whole world was like going around me, and just I felt like I have lost control, and I don't know what my next steps are. So first of all, I Google what sarcoma is, right? And then I learn it's a rare cancer. And the next thing I search for is survival stories. So that's another reason why I want to do this. And yeah, I desperately look at, stories and whatnot to see how am I going to get over this? Am I going to live my normal life after this? So normal, I keep saying, I'm gonna keep saying normal again and again, but that's a word that I kind of have issues with right now. So disregard if I use the word normal out of context, and if you feel uncomfortable with it, so do I. So but I still use those old vocabulary. So yeah. Anyway, so the day I got diagnosed, the life I knew kind of in my head was over. And I remember I was, obviously I was crying. And then I had a lecture, and I had an online lecture the same day. And this was before the doctor's appointment. So I got the news, and then I had the doctor's appointment after that. And then I had like a 3-hour window before the doctor's appointment. So this was the same time I had the lecture. And what do I decide to do? My brain was so, used to, like going to the online lectures, taking notes, or sleeping through it. I'm sorry if any of the lecturers are watching. I didn't sleep. And then yeah, eventually just that was my normal life. And then at that moment I was like, what am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do? So I have this diagnosis. I don't know what my life is. Is my life over? Am I going to survive this? Am I going to die? I don't know what's going to happen. And then also I have this normal life also happening parallelly. I have an online lecture, and am I going to go for that, or am I going to sit here and am I going to like be like this? So I was staring at the link on the screen, and And then I immediately felt like this sense of relief, like something kind of like washed over me. So I decided to go for the lecture and, just mute myself. And I didn't take any notes. I was just sitting there. Staring at my old life in my new, very raw form, in my new state. I was kind of like staring at my old life. I was, sometimes I would start to cry again. And I was on mute the whole time. And I mean, no one was forcing me to go to this lecture in the first place. So I have to clarify that. If I told my lecturer that I wasn't feeling fine and I couldn't attend the lecture, he wouldn't be, he wouldn't make a fuss. He would just be like, okay, that's fine. And no one was making me go to this lecture, but this was me handling the situation, just trying to regain control in any sense. That was me. So I didn't take any notes. To this date I can't remember what was on that lecture. I honestly have no idea what happened. And the lecture ends and I eventually go to the doctors. I hear more terrible things because doctors give facts. And of course I most respect for these doctors, because without them I wouldn't be here. So but doctors are designed to give facts. They are, yeah. So I hear all these stories, and then after that it's all about getting my treatment done. But among all this, I felt like I have lost control over my life. Now it has become all about this disease. That's what I felt back then. And then I do the one thing that I can control, is to do my degree. So I decided then and there that I am going to finish my degree and graduate with my friends, no matter what happens in my life. Was that a good idea? So I asked my counselor that question very recently. I have gone through so many other things after this event. And I asked her, was I right to make that decision? And she asked me back, at that time, did you feel like, were you all right with making that decision? Did that feel right to you? She asked. And I immediately said, yes. That's why I made that decision. That's why I decided to just, go ahead with my degree and finish my degree, regardless of what was happening in my personal life. And then she said, well, then, yes, that is the right decision, because it felt right to you, and that's all that matters. So whoever is watching this video, I would like to just say that I made that decision because it felt right to me. And it might not be the right decision for everyone. Maybe your coping mechanism would be much different than mine. I just want to regain control of what I can. And I went ahead with that. And for me, that was finishing my degree as I planned and graduate with my friends like a normal person would. And that's why I chose to do that. And just because I chose to do that doesn't mean that it is the right decision or the wrong decision. It just felt right for me. And I kindly ask anyone who is watching this video not to take that advice as a toxic positive advice. Like, don't take it as if she did that, I have to do that. Maybe you can say, yeah, I could do that. Maybe also I could not. What if it doesn't feel comfortable for you? Don't do it. Just do what feels comfortable for you. I just have to say it again because as Asians, Sri Lankans, we love to compare people with each other and say like, if they can do it, why can't you? If they can achieve that, why can't you? We really love saying those things, but those are really unhelpful, and I do not want to be a part of something like that. So I say this again and again: everyone is different, everyone's coping mechanisms are different, so just respect what the person needs and just go ahead with that. So yeah, that's how I faced my diagnosis. And then after that, I think the rest of, before I go ahead and say all of it, I would like to first say a little bit about the support I got from my family, my friends, and my lecturers back then when I was doing my undergrad. I was blessed, so blessed, because they were there to support me. And literally at one point, I remember my father told me that you just pay attention, you just focus on your degree and your personal life. I will take care of the rest. I will take care of the hospital appointments, the treatment, and everything. You don't have to even think about that. And that is a huge privilege that I have had, and I still have, because I am well aware that there are many people who can't say that they have to take care of everything in their life. And especially, if you are someone much older with, bigger responsibilities, if you are a father or a mother, or even if you're a single individual taking care of others, if there are people depending on you, the circumstances and your mindset is going to be totally different to what I had back then, because I was just, I had no ties. I was in a relationship, but no one was depending on me. It was just, it was just us, and just no one was, if I died, of course people would be sad, um, but no one would be able to, like, function without me. So I didn't have that weight on my shoulders. So that's completely different to someone who is like, a mother or a father, or someone who's taking care of someone going through this same diagnosis, because then their whole thinking will be filtered with their responsibilities that they have. So I just want to emphasize that first. And so that's why I keep saying that I'm so grateful for all the support that I got from my family, my friends, and my lecturers, everyone. The immense support I got was something I am, to this date and even in the future, how long I have, I will forever be grateful for that. So yeah, and yes, I I mean, I can't name each and every one of you, but you know who you are. So I'm just so grateful for anyone who helped, and not just my family, of course, all the doctors, the healthcare professionals who helped me get here today. I mean, I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for you. So yeah. So before I start talking about the, the incidences, or, times I still remember to this date, I would just like to talk a little bit about, um, getting diagnosed with something like that, and how it would impact our, thinking, or how we can use it to find strength. So this is, again, I'm just gonna say this again, this is just how I face things, um, just my story. So there might be many other people who have much um, you know, bigger courage than me, who have been through so much worse than this story, and to them I have my utmost respect. If someone like that is watching this video somehow, please do, if you want to share your story, please do leave a comment, because yeah, it would be helpful for someone. So when you get diagnosed with, something like this or another disease, that thing happens to your body, right? So this body that we are born with, the day it is born, it starts to age, right? I will use that word. And it ages, you become 1 year old, and then you become 2, then you become eventually 10 years old, 15, 20, 25, 30. You have, your mindset also grows with your body. So both your mind and your body experience things, and you grow, right? And you know that eventually this body is going to die, right? So I'm not gonna talk a lot about that because I don't want to make this video that long, but I'm going to use the word the body and the soul. A little bit controversial, but I will use that word. I mean, you can say the mind, the conscious, the subconscious, or the conscious, or whatever, that anything that you believe in, if you I'm just gonna use a general term and call it soul. So we have this body, right? And then we have a separate thing called soul, so the mind or whatever. And anything can happen to this body. This body, that this is going to die one day. Like, it's like, even right now, like at this moment, all the cells in my body are dividing. Some are dying, some are being born, they are multiplying, some are going to natural death. Yeah, things are happening all the time, it's changing, right? So anything can happen to this body. You can get diseases, you can get injured, anything can happen to it any second. We never know. um I mean, I might be talking right now and I might be dead in like few hours. I don't know. Maybe in a month, maybe in 2 years, 5 years, I don't know. None of us know when we are going to die. So what does change when we get a diagnosis? When the doctor tells you, like, this is your 5 year survival rate, or this is your prognosis. um it's just statistics. It's just statistics and a number based on other people's experiences. It's not your number, it's just a number. It could change. And I'm not going to get into that a lot. Not never. I was not good at statistics, so I'm not going to get into that. The one thing that you have to keep in mind when you Google these things is that numbers are based on other people's experiences, not yours. For you, that number might be, so it might be true or it might not. It might be longer than that, it might be shorter than that, or it might be exactly that. We never know. You just have to live it and experience it yourself. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take your doctor's advice. Of course, you need to take your doctor's advice. And just before getting scared or jumping into conclusions because of Dr. Google, always keep in mind that those statistics are not you, especially when it comes to stuff like cancer, because it is something that happens in your own cells. your own cells get mutated and becomes a tumor, a malignant tumor. And you are different to other people. Each of our DNAs are different. So that's exactly why some chemos work for some people and the same chemo doesn't work for another person, because each of our bodies are different. So when you look into statistics, don't take it too literally. If it's scary, don't take it too literally. Just face it with confidence. If it makes you feel scared, just think that it is just a number. That's not you. Also, because I talked about body and soul, and because I said that anything can happen to your body, your soul is much stronger than you think. It is much stronger than you believe. When I was, before all of this, when I saw people who go through the same stuff, I thought to myself, wow, I would never be able to comprehend something like that. I would not be able to do anything like that. I would be completely lost. I would never not know. I would never know what to do. But I am here today. I went through that and I'm here today. And it just kind of, happens. And then you kind of understand, and then you realize yourself that, how to face this. One thing I remember from my very early days after the diagnosis was that there was this one, I think it was in Reddit or something. One person said that the initial diagnosis and digesting the news is the hardest. Everything after that, it becomes better, because realizing this, coming into terms with that, accepting that, it takes a lot of courage. And if you have, got through that, you are so much stronger. And do not care about what anyone would say in a bad day, in a bad day you're having. You are so much stronger than you were before. Do not compare yourself to other people. Always compare yourself to the person you were before. Because as long as you're going forward, that's all that matters. So anything could happen, as I said, anything could happen to this body, but your soul is much stronger. So if you can have, if you can, process that news and go forward, that means your soul is just starting to get stronger. And every day, maybe you are going for treatment or going for another doctor's appointment, you will feel scared, because it will, your brain will, the primal instinct of our brain is to keep this body safe. I don't think it cares that much about the mind. So I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it will feel scary. It will feel scary. You will have anxiety. It will make you feel sick. You will have so many emotions. But if you still show up, your soul is just making you, you are stronger, and your soul just keeps on showing up. Even if you think right now, while you're watching this video, that, oh my god, I can never do this. Of course you have that courage in you. You just have to, find it. And because I didn't find this myself, I was pushed into it. I was just an average girl. Like, I was, scared at, very little things. I am scared of big dogs. I'm scared of, spiders. I'm scared of so many things. I hate driving. I'm scared of speedy vehicles. I'm scared of so many things. And I'm not that, I'm not like I'm not scared of anything kind of a person. I am scared of so many things. So when I say that you can find the courage in yourself, I mean it. You do. You can find the courage in yourself. And that kind of became my motto for the rest of my degree. So I will just, briefly mention some moments when I did things that I still can't believe that I did. So I remember this one day. If you're not interested in these stories, you can just skip ahead. So I remember this one day right after a surgery. I think it was my first surgery, and I had a lecture, I think an online lecture right after the surgery. No one was making me to attend these lectures. I could have perfectly told my lecturers my real situation and just, would be excused immediately. So this was just me being stubborn and deciding to, like, go back to my normal life, uh, among all the things that were happening, right? So I decide, and I, right after the surgery, I was, being wheeled into the car by my dad, I think. And I think I had the lecture starting around, like, I can't remember the time, but in like 5 minutes or something. So I get into the car, there's like a bandage wrapped around my knee, so I had to keep my legs straight. I'm in the back seat with my legs straight, like 24 hours after the surgery. And I decided to join that online lecture. Um, so yeah, I'm in the back seat, joining the online lecture, and just, this is normal, right? This is normal. So yeah, I just joined the lecture just for namesake, and that was just one incident. And then also I remember one time I joined the lecture just before the surgery. So that was again because I wanted to not focus on, my surgery. I just wanted an escape. So instead of like thinking about the surgery and everything, I decided, no, I'm not going to think about the surgery. I'm just going to think about the lecture. So I decide to join a lecture like an hour before my surgery happens. And I remember, like, 2 minutes after that lecture ends, the anesthetist comes to the room and, just to check with me and get my history. And she asked me, how are you been? I was like, I just finished the lecture. uh, completely normal. Yeah, completely normal. So yeah, that was just another time. I'm not saying like these behaviors are normal or okay or acceptable. I not saying that. I'm just saying how crazy I was. And I just want you to like see how this 20 something year old girl faced this diagnosis and tried to regain control. um that was just my coping mechanism. And then the 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 biggest, I think, the biggest thing that I can still remember and kind of find funny is that so this was in my fourth year. I was doing radiotherapy back then, and this was the time when Sri Lanka was going through an economic crisis. So there was riots on the road and curfews here and there, and I was going for radiotherapy treatment. Yeah, I was going daily and every day in the evening. So also the same time I would have yeah, we had our final exams. So this was the second semester of our fourth year, which is when we have the most difficult subjects ever. So quantum mechanics, particle physics. space physics. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, the most difficult subjects. And at the same time, we were having our exams, right? I remember, like, so I had these two best friends. So I remember we were studying quantum mechanics, and we would cry, like literally cry, because we couldn't understand the math. So it was that difficult. So we were like, struggling with exams already. And because of the economic crisis, I went to a government university. So, the universities will be, closed sometimes, and the exam dates are unsure. So there was so much stress. So I mean, you know how frustrating it is that, when you study and then your exam get postponed. So it was just extremely stressful, right? um and then add add an economic crisis to the mix, riots on the road to the mix, and also radiotherapy into the mix. Not so great, right? um and I then had to, like, because of my surgeries, I had to, like, wear a brace around my knee, a removable brace, so it kind of restricted my movements. So walking was not easy. And then because of radiotherapy, I had like this stiff knee joint, like stretch your knee that much, but you also do have to stretch your knee and everything, because you don't need like a stiff knee. So it was like excruciating pain every morning when I wake up and I have to like stretch my leg. All my sleepiness, my grogginess would just completely disappear as I stretched my leg every day for like a month. So this, and also at the same time, one of my cousins were getting married. So I was really excited to go for his wedding, but uh, it was the same week I was having an exam, but I was okay to tackle with both. And to make things a little bit more complicated, I get a low grade fever, a very low grade fever. So because maybe I was exhausted and had like a mild infection, something, I don't know. My doctor wasn't freaking out about it. He just told me to like get a painkiller because it was low grade fever and my counts were not that bad. So clinically I was fine, but I wasn't feeling that well. So I mean, my doctors never advised me to like, stress myself this much. So this was just completely me being crazy. And yeah, so I just wanted to paint that picture before I say, um, the rest. So I could have perfectly got an excuse and, you know, get an absence for the exam, right? I should have done that for the sake of my mental health. But I just wanted to keep going. And I had this, goal to like graduate with my friends and finish the degree with everyone. So I just powered through. I just kept telling myself, no, I can do this. I can do this. I'm fine. I'm fine. I was not fine, but I was able to do it. I had that strength in me to do it. So this was one of those times when my body wasn't so strong, but my soul was stronger, and it could keep going. Was that the right choice? I wouldn't give this advice to others. I'm just saying this as an example to tell you that your soul is just stronger than your body. Not as that you should power through like this. You shouldn't. But like I said before, like early on the video, back then I thought this was the right thing and this made me feel better. So that's why I did it, right? So so yeah, while I was going through that, and I had the low grade fever, the stiff knee, quantum mechanics, and everything. I remember one day when we were going to radiotherapy treatment with my dad, we get stopped by one of the army officers, because there were not many vehicles in the road those days because of the riots, if you remember. And he stopped us and asked, "Where are you going?" And my dad was like, he showed him the um, clinic card kind of thing to him and said that, my daughter's cancer treatment. And then he was like, "Ah, okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead." So yeah, I went for the radiotherapy treatment, and that day I came back home, uh, took some paracetamols and studied. And I went for the exam. Eventually, I could not go to my cousin's wedding. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry. This is the real story. I really wanted to come to your wedding, but I was feeling very, very sick. So yeah, so eventually I went to my exam, and then I had to limp all the way to the exam hall. My dad would park very nearby because, I mean, if he could go into the exam hall in the car, he would have done that. He's that type of a father. So he would park very near and close to the exam hall. But yeah, there was like a small way to walk into the exam hall. And I remember like I was limping, and then my friend, one of my friends were like, "What happened to your knee?" And I was like, "Oh, it's injured. Long story, it's just injured. I'm fine." Yeah, I used to say that a lot, like I'm fine, when I'm actually not, which is something that I'm not very proud of. I should have just said I'm not fine. But that's for another video. And yeah, I limped all the way to the exam hall. I remember when so when I sit down, I have to bend my knee, right? Excruciating pain again. And then I did the exam. I got A's. And it's something that I'm to this date that I can't believe that I did. Would I do that again now? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. If I'm feeling stubborn, I would, but I don't know. So if I tell that story to my 12, 15-year-old self, she would be like, "Nah, that's not you. That's not us. You can't do that. You're crazy. You can't do that." And yet I did. Yet I did, because I was so focused on my goal and I was motivated to achieve that. And I somehow found the courage to do it. Not just because, like, it wasn't just me. I had all the support in the world. I had my solid rock parents, my boyfriend, my husband was my boyfriend back then, my boyfriend and my sister and all my relatives, my friends, they were my solid rocks. So I had these anchors around me to grab onto. And then I had the support from my lecturers and YouTube. So many motivational videos in YouTube helped me a lot, especially this lady who was also going through her cancer journey said that this disease might kill me, but you will never catch me dying, is something that I still remember and will always remember. Because I'm not going to analyze that a lot now, but yeah, this disease might kill me one day. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to die. But in the meantime, I am going to do everything I can with this precious life I got. I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to, you know, of course, there are going to be, bad times. I'm going to feel sad and angry and everything. Also, I'm going to feel happy and joyous, all those things. I'm just going to find a balance and, achieve what I can and not waste this amazing opportunity I got to be a human being, um, with all these things I have. So if you're going through something difficult right now, it will feel very intense right now. So express your emotions, um, cry it out, cry it out, punch a pillow, do harmless things, cry it out, sleep it out, go out. Maybe that's your way of expressing. Go out, feel the sun, feel the warmth, or look at the rain, maybe take a shower. Anything that you will do in order to feel better, do that. Maybe you don't feel so great the next day as well. Take a rest completely. And then just eventually you will start to feel better. It will get better one day. And if you still don't feel better, if you feel like you have lost hope, seek help, get professional help. There's so many help available, so just go for it. It's just about asking for help. And eventually things will get lighter and feel better. So again, I'm saying, anything can happen to this body. This body was bound to die one day. It's gonna die, um, unless you believe in all those sci-fi stuff like attaching your brain into something and then living forever. Yeah. This body will die, but your soul is going to be unbreakable. It's unbreakable. You have that strength in you. You just have to look for it. And for me, I had to be pushed into a corner to find it. But for some of you, it might not be that bad. So yeah, if you're going through something like this for right now, I just want you to know that it will get better. You will find a way to uh, find peace. Yeah. So I think I think that's enough for this video. So yeah, eventually, I couldn't finish my degree story, right? So eventually I managed to get a first class and go to my graduation. I walked the graduation, I walked on my stage, got my degree and degree certificate. And yeah, that was like a really wholesome moment, because there were times when I wondered if I were able to, go for my graduation. And even now I do wonder, am I going to be able to go for get my doctorate in the first place, let alone going for a graduation. Yeah, I mean, you never know about the future. So when you achieve something, you have to celebrate that. And it's funny because when I found out that I got a first class, I was in the hospital getting chemotherapy, surrounded by strangers. My mom, I think my parents had to go home to get some food for me, and the visiting hour was like not that time. So yeah, I remember I was alone and I had no one to share the news with. Um, it was just me and just yeah, I had this carer. Um, she stayed in when my mom had to go home and change and stuff. So yeah, and I remember I saw my results. I had this, you know, all these feelings in my heart, and I had no one to share it with. And I remember I called Yasit, my husband, and I told him I got a first class. And I remember I just called him and cried. I called him and cried, and I just kept crying. I cried and cried and cried. And I remember then I also told my friends, and this one friend, she called me, and I remember she was just crying. We were all crying because it was just like this very amazing, special moment for everyone. And I just couldn't wait to tell my parents. And it was not at all how I imagined it would be. Every time every day when I pictured, like when I was studying, I would picture myself, if what would happen if I get a first class, right? What would happen? And then it was not at all how I pictured it. Like I was in this hospital surrounded by strangers, and I told my parents, and yeah, it was wholesome between us. But yeah, it was something. And even when I got the degree and the degree certificate, it felt like a dream. And looking back now, I have my utmost respect for that girl for going through that and getting the courage to face that. Because if she didn't push herself like that, if she didn't push through like that, I wouldn't be here today. And I wouldn't be able to come for this amazing PhD opportunity. And yeah, and I didn't achieve that degree by myself. Like I said before, I had all the support from my family, friends, and my amazing supportive lecturers at the physics department at University of Jawaharlal, because yeah, they helped me a lot. I'm gonna talk too much about that. I think I'm gonna start crying. um, yeah. So believe in yourself. If you feel like it's something impossible, something that you can't do, believe in yourself, because you have that strength in you. You just have to find it. You just have to find it. It is in you. And if I could do it, in the most loving way, I'm saying this, not as a comparison, I'm just saying this, that in the sense of like, if an average girl like me can do it, so can you. Because I was a clueless girl who had no idea about life or anything. I just learned along the way. So I don't know how long this video is. I have like sectioned it. Maybe it's so long and there's no one watching by the end of this. But if you are still watching, take this video in a dose that you would want to. If this doesn't resonate with you at all, I'm sorry, don't take it. If this feels uncomfortable, don't take it. But if this is something that resonates with you, and if this feels motivating to you, or it makes you feel good, please do take this. And please, if you have anything lovely to say, please leave a comment. I don't know where I'm going to post this, so please do leave a comment or whatever feedback. And if there's anything specific that you would want me to talk about, I mean, I might not be comfortable talking about some stuff, but I could consider. So yeah, just leave me a message. And again, I'm asking very kindly not to reach out to my parents, my relatives, my grandparents, or anyone, and ask them details about my diagnosis and stuff. Please, 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 if you really want to talk to them, just tell them how amazing they are, because that's exactly what they are. They are the most amazing people in the world, my family and all my friends. And so yeah, I think that's it for now. I might make another video, I don't know. yeah. uh so I think that's it. So goodbye for now. Yeah, I'll see you later, maybe. I don't know. Bye.